Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, I'm Noyanika and I talk about books and sometimes about my life here and there, but it's mostly about books. So I wanted to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I also wanted to wish you the best of best holidays, and I hope you're all doing well. And today I wanted to take this moment and show you something amazing because today is Christmas and I received a beautiful present from my man. So he actually gifted me something which I really wanted for a long time, and when I got it I was literally in tears, so I couldn't wait to open the gift. So I couldn't actually record my reaction because I was so overwhelmed and so in love with the gift that I just couldn't find the time to actually sit and record and unbox the gift in front of you guys. I didn't have the patience. So I'll just show you what I got. And it's here. Yeah. So it is the Throne of Glass series. How awesome is that? Like, just imagine how amazing is this gift. Firstly, he surprised me. I didn't expect this. Honestly, I thought I would just order it for myself for my birthday, and I was not expecting it at all to get it before this year ends. So this is the gift that I received, the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas. And I've heard so much about the series that I really wanted to read it. I guess I kind of manifested it then. And wow, I can't believe I finally got it. So I wanted to say thank you to him. So I know you're watching this video, and thank you so much for this wonderful present. I really love it. Thank you. And yes, the first thing I did was, after opening the package, I took out this book and smelled it. I love the smell of new books. The quality is amazing. It's chef's kiss. It's amazing, and I think you're supposed to be reading this one first and then Throne of Glass. So it's, I think, the prequel of this book. So these are the books that I'm going to be reading from 2024 onwards, because I have a few books that I want to. Actually, I just have one book that I really want to complete before this year ends. So let's see how that works out. So this video is all about the best books that I read in 2023. So overall, I read about 32 books this year, which is not bad, provided I started pretty late. So I started reading a lot in the month of July. I actually quit my job and then I got back into reading, and I was just reading. And I think in the past 6 months, I ended up reading 32 books, which is a lot, at least for me. And I would say that's not bad progress. I'm a slow reader, and reading 32 books is insane. I think that's why I ended up hitting a reading slump in between. But again, my plan was to complete 50 books before this year ends, and trust me, I think I took that very seriously, and it was very overwhelming. So I just told myself it's all right if I don't complete 50 books this year, it's fine. So 32 books it is. So I am actually currently reading my 32nd book. So I haven't really completed 32 books. So I'm on my 32nd one, and it's going to be my last one for this year, provided it's already December 25th. So yeah, so let me just get started with the best books that I read in 2023, and definitely put these books on your TBR. You need to give these books a read. Trust me when I say that these books have really helped me a lot, and these books are just amazing. The ones that I'm going to show you right now. So now let's look at the best books that I read in the year 2023. So first up comes A Brief History of Black Holes by Dr. Becky Smetarest. So firstly, I love reading science books. I love astrophysics books because I'm an astrophysics graduate. So I do love and understand astrophysics books. I think everyone should read this book because firstly, it's so beautifully explained. So many complicated theories, so beautifully explained, and there are so many references from Pokemon, Taylor Swift songs, and whatnot. And you can also, once you read this, you'll also know how much she actually researched while writing this book. Immense amount of research went into writing this book. Honestly, it was just beautiful, beautifully articulated, and I think it's just 10 on 10. I genuinely loved it. I mean, 11 on 10. Honestly, it was just so amazing reading this book. Trust me, give this a shot. If you're new to astrophysics, if you're not familiar with black holes and few science concepts, trust me, give it a try. You're going to understand it all because she explains it so beautifully. And yeah, she's actually one of my favorite science communicators. So give her a follow if you can. Must read. It's one of the best reads of 2023. And the next one is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Janet McCurdy. So this book is actually a non-fiction, so it's written by Janet McCurdy herself. So this book was very beautifully written. There are few quotes which I really loved, and look at how beautiful the cover page is. I've given a full review about this book on my previous videos. I'm going to put a link on my description, so give that a watch if you're interested. And this book was just so simple, so beautifully articulated, and I could understand, I could actually feel what she was going through with her mother. And was I really glad her mom died? Well, yes, I kind of was, because otherwise she wouldn't have been able to write this book. Honestly, I think it was very well articulated, and I think it deserves a 10 on 10. Honestly, it was very good. Give this a read. So the next book that I want to talk about is it's not great, but I liked it because of its writing style. I didn't like the plot line as much because the ending really kind of annoyed me, but at the same time it makes sense why the author chose such an ending. But again, that's what was the whole purpose of this book. So I wouldn't say I was in love with the plot. It's just that I was in love with the writing. So this book deserves a bit of recognition because of its writing. So Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. So this book was actually, I was seeing it everywhere, and it won a Women's Prize for 2020. So I think that was the reason why I ended up buying this, because I was seeing it everywhere, and it was known for its writing, and I understand why it was known for its writing, because it was very good. It was very refreshing, because the books that you read today, especially the popular books, the English is a bit sloppy. Over here, I actually felt very good reading such literature after a long time, and it was very refreshing. I really liked the writing style. It's just that the plot was a little not my kind. It was mostly about grief, and it makes sense because it talks about Shakespeare's son Hamlet, if I'm not wrong. So this book focuses on Hamlet and Shakespeare's family, basically. So it focuses on his wife, his children, and his life at home. So the author never really mentions Shakespeare as Shakespeare. She only mentions him in third person, like father or a teacher or a playwright. So the author never really mentions Shakespeare's name, and it only focuses on his family and not him. So the spotlight is on Hamlet and Shakespeare's wife and his other children. So that was the entire plot line. It was pretty interesting, to be honest. At first I was actually liking it, but again, then I kind of got bored in between, but again, it was pretty interesting. It's just the writing was actually pretty good. There are a few quotes which I really loved. It was very well portrayed, and it was mostly about grief. And so I didn't really feel that sad reading it. I don't know why, I just didn't emotionally connect with this book that much. but kudos to the writing. So if you want to give it a read for the writing, please do. So the next book is a comfort book. I give this book a 5 on 5 because it really helped me stay calm. It was very soothing, and I liked the way it ended. The book was perfect. I mean, I don't see any complaints. The writing was very simple, very easy to understand, and the plot line was also very sweet, very simple. It was very calming altogether. It actually helped me stay grounded for a while. And the book is Days at the Murasaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagisawa, translated by Eric Ozawa. So this book is just beautiful. It's so simple, it's so refreshing, it's so calming. It's worth it. It's worth your time, and it is not even too long. It's a very short book. It's just 147 pages. It's just very soothing and very nice. And if you want to, if you are very tired with life, or you're feeling very overwhelmed with things around you, just sit, take a while, take some time out and give this book a read, because it will help you stay calm. Honestly, you'll feel very good, you'll feel very calm after reading this. I don't know, it's something with Japanese novels where you just feel very calm after reading them. It's just something to do with Japanese novels, I guess. Or maybe I'm just picking up the books that are calming. So give this a read. It's one of the best that I read in 2023, and the most needed book actually. I really wanted to read a book that made me feel calm and grounded, and this book did the job, honestly. So give this a read. Next book is actually something which one of my favorite YouTubers recommended. So one of my favorite YouTuber is Jack Edwards. I really follow him. Honestly, I love all the books that he talks about. So I ended up reading If We Were Villains by Emil Rio because he recommended one of his videos, and I completely fell in love with it. The entire experience of this book was very different, very new to me, because I don't read a lot of dark academia, so this was one of my first. So I didn't read The Secret History yet. I don't know why, I just can't get myself into reading that book for some reason. I did read a few pages, but after that I was like, am I actually liking it? No. So I will definitely try to read it next year. Maybe it was not meant for me this year, So I ended up reading this instead, and it was so good. I completely fell in love. So it has these acts, act 1, act 2, which I really liked the concept. Scene 7, scene 6, I really liked it. It was like a play that I was reading, which was pretty good. I genuinely enjoyed it. I like to read plays, and it also has a lot of references from Shakespeare, and it was just good. I liked it. It has the dark academia vibes, and the story was great. It has Shakespeare, so many references from Shakespeare's plays, which I genuinely enjoyed reading. And and I liked so many quotes that I completely enjoyed the entire experience of this book, and the quality of the book and the cover page, everything 5 on 5. Give this a read if you like Shakespeare, if you like plays, and if you like dark academia. Just give this a read. There's no harm in giving it a shot, right? Next one is a very sweet book. I genuinely was reading this very slow because I wanted to completely empathize with the character. It was very nice. I loved the concept of this book, and this book just made me happy in general. By the time I completed this book, I was feeling very good about life in general. So In 1,000 Different Ways by Cecilia Ahern. So this book is a must read. It was something I just started reading this year. I think after I quit my job, I was looking to read some nice book, something with different plot line. So I ended up finding this book online, and I didn't see many reviews. It's not a very popular book. I think it's very underrated. And I thought, you know what, why not just give this a read? And I completely loved it. I don't like the color on the cover, but if you just ignore this cover page, I think the book itself is just wonderful. Cecilia Ahern is a beautiful writer. Honestly, I loved the writing. It was very, very good. And the storyline was very, very unique. You know, there are some disorders where people can see music, right? Where people can actually see smell. She can see emotions. I mean, we can all see expressions of people when they show some emotion, but she can literally see emotions through a person's aura. So some people might have red aura if they're angry, so she kind of distinguishes a person's emotions through the color of their aura, which I found was pretty cool. And she gets a little migraines because of it, and she's been living through it all. She gets to know people's intentions. And I think you should just give it a read because it was very, very interesting to read. I don't know, it just shows the importance of emotions, the importance of energies, to be honest, how we affect one another, how our emotions really affect one another. So I think just give this a read. One should really give this a read. I genuinely loved it, and I think you're going to love it too. So there's no murder, there's no mystery, it's just simple day-to-day thing that this woman goes through. uh, it's basically about how she navigates through life, you know, how she finds love, how she finds, how she accepts herself, how she accepts this gift, how she passes on this gift to her kids, all these things. So I think it's just amazing. Just give this a read. And the next one is so as you know, if you've been following me for a while, as you know, I am in love with the Aquatar series, right? I started my first fantasy series and it was Aquatar. And I genuinely loved the first book, so I ended up reading the second book, and it was one of the best books that I read in the year 2023. I don't know why, it just was very good. I know people have a lot of issues with the main guy, Resent. Some people say he's toxic, some people say that he's just pretentious. Some people don't like the main character Farah, but I don't know. I don't see what's wrong with the characters. I think they're all great. Even the side characters are just amazing. I genuinely loved this book. I also like the third book, but I prefer this book. So this was just amazing. I literally devoured this book. I couldn't stop reading. I kept reading until I completed this book and jumped onto the next one. It was just amazing. I think the second book is the best of all from the series that I'm reading. And I just found out that Sarah J. Maas is writing another book for the series, so I'm kind of excited to read what she is planning next. So yeah, I just don't want to give up on this universe yet. I genuinely love it. So give this a read. Give the series a read. I know some of you don't like the series. I know I've heard a lot of complaints about the writing style. I've also heard about the character developments of the characters in this book. But to be honest, I loved it. I read to escape, and I completely escaped, and it did its job. So I genuinely loved it. There's nothing wrong with this fantasy genre. It's just I liked that there were fairies. I liked the fact that there were wolves. I liked the fact that there was romance in it. I liked the spice. I liked everything about this book. So, and the writing was very simple to understand. And yeah, I mean, I think it just did its job, as a popular fan romantasy novel. So give this a read. Honestly, the second book is the best out of all, so give this a read. And the next one is The Lost Daughter by Elena Ferrante. It's a very short book, and it was very, very, very good. Why? Because firstly, the writing was very simple to understand. The plot line was good, and there was a twist in the end, which is pretty good. It was very simple, very new, and I actually felt like I was sunbathing on a beach in Italy. Honestly, it transported me to Italy. It felt good reading this book for some reason, even though the character's life was not that great. It's just very simple, very relatable. I mean, this is something which could happen in real life, and I think it was Just all together, it was amazing. So after that, after this book, I became a fan of Elena Ferrante, and I think this book is very underrated. Just 140 pages. That is it. I think you can make some time out for this book. There are so many quotes that I liked, which was relatable. So give this a shot, please. So the next book that I really want to talk about is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. So her writing is just excuse it. Honestly, I genuinely fell in love with her after reading that book. It made me cry. It was so heartbreaking. So this was actually her debut novel. I think she published this book in 1970s. Yes. So she talks about the time of being a black woman in America. So it actually focuses on societal circumstances that actually leads a young black girl to believe that she's not beautiful just because she doesn't have blue eyes. So, I mean, that book is heartbreaking. It is very, very sad. I cried a lot, and the fact that this is this could have been a true story for many kids, it just kind of breaks my heart. It also talks about how the society was back then, how people perceived black people back then in America. I mean, you can still see the disparity. I mean, you can see how much things still haven't changed and how much there is to change about the society, about people, about what people go through. The disparity is just very, very heartbreaking. And when you actually read the book, you'll know what I'm really talking about, because she goes in depth with the feelings, with the characters' feelings. You can actually empathize with the characters. You are definitely going to cry when you read it. And she has a thing with her books where she puts a twist right in the end. Right before you complete the book, you'll see a twist, and you'll never expect it. Honestly, it's just something with Toni Morrison. I don't know how she weaves her words. I would kill to write like her. Honestly, such beautiful writing, such an amazing plot line. I mean, it's so heartbreaking, so heartbreaking. Give that book a shot. I don't have the physical copy with me right now, but you should give The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison a read. Honestly, please. That's the first thing you should do when you start with the new year. The next one is not the best read of 2023, but I think this book, A Little Life by Hania Yana Gihara, actually made me cry, made me feel for the character. And I liked how she took her time to let the readers kind of get involved with the characters, kind of empathize with the characters, and then bam, she drops. She really messes up with the character so bad that it messes up with you, and you start empathizing to a level that you're howling, you're like crying, you're bawling. Honestly, I cried so much reading this book. It was very, very, very painful to read this because of what the character was going through. It was not because of the writing. The writing was very good. I mean, if you're reading a 700-page book and the writing is terrible, there's no point reading it, right? So the writing was very good, and I genuinely loved how she, took her time to build the characters, made us empathize with the characters, and then boom, then she just, yeah, you just have to read it. You just have to give it a read. I mean, it comes with its trigger warnings, so please read the trigger warnings before you actually jump into this book, but I must say that this is a book that made me cry a lot. And how can someone write this? Honestly, how can your mind work in such a way that you can think of how much pain you can give a character? Honestly, it's just I don't know how to explain it without ruining it. So just give it a read. Just give it a read. If you think your life's bad, then give this a read and just see what I'm really talking about. So thank you so much for watching this video. I try to keep this video as short as possible because I know how much retention we all have these days, honestly. So I hope you like this video. I hope you like my recommendations, and trust me when I say that these are the best books that I read in 2023. Believe me, these were the best books that I read in 2023, and I had an amazing experience reading all these books. But I honestly urge you to read The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison first and then give the others a shot, because that was number one for me. Honestly, I genuinely loved the book, and then comes this. So please take your time and give those books a read, which I mentioned in this video. And if you have any books that I think I should have read in this year, do let me know in the comments below. And I also want to take another minute to thank the person who gifted me this from my Amazon wishlist. My man, thank you so much for this beautiful gift. I genuinely love it, and I can't wait to read these. Honestly, I genuinely can't wait to read all these books. I have a lot more books that I have planned that are on my TBR for the year 2024, so I'm also going to make a video on that. So if you want to gift me a book for the new year, then you can gift me from my Amazon wish list. I will mention the link on the description below. So thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for all love, all the support, and I hope you guys have an amazing Christmas, amazing holidays ahead, and I wish you a happy new year. Bye bye.